Welcome, folks, to an MLS Matchday 31 prediction video. Let's get to it. New England taking on Charlotte at 7:30 p.m. Eastern. Charlotte are coming off a big home win against New York Red Bulls. Meanwhile, for New England, they're coming off a phenomenal win against Columbus. Very implications on the line for these two clubs, of course. Charlotte trying to get in the thick of the playoffs, at least top four. But for New England, really more importantly, getting in that play-in spot. Being played in Foxborough should be a fun one. Give me a 1-all draw. 1-1. Sorry I was being interrupted, but continue. Next up, we have Toronto taking on Montreal at 7:30 p.m. Eastern game. This is a rivalry of the Canadians. Yep. Toronto coming off a draw 0-0 to Atlanta on the road. They welcome Montreal, who came in with a big win against Austin FC. What a win for them. But this is a huge game for both sides. Of course, there's nothing to play for. If you're Toronto, then yes, you try to get in that play-in spot. Give me Toronto winning it 2-1 against Montreal. New York City taking on DC at 7:30 p.m. Eastern game. DC is coming off a 1-all draw to Miami. Now they had to hit to the Queens to take on New York City, who are coming off a 1-0 win on the road against Cincinnati. This is a trap game, of course, for New York, but playing DC could probably get them troubled, but they're trying to fight for that playoff spot. Give me New York winning it 2-0. What a match this is going to be. What a game. Cincinnati taking on Philadelphia at 7:30 p.m. Eastern game. Both of them are coming off opposite sides. For Philly, 4-0 win against Chicago. And for Cincinnati, they're coming off a tough loss to New York City. This game will be very important for both of these sides, of course. Supporter Shield is on the line for Philadelphia. They have a chance to win it over San Diego, who we'll get to them later on. But Cincinnati is right behind them, and they're trying to make some noise, of course. Being played in Cincinnati, I do think Cincinnati gets a 2-1 win against Philadelphia. New York Red Bulls taking on Columbus at 7:30 p.m. Eastern game. Another must-win game for these both clubs because they're both coming off tough losses, of course. For Columbus, a 2-1 loss to New England. While for New York, a loss to Charlotte on Sunday Night Soccer. Tough one. This will be huge, not only for both of these clubs, but their playoff seeding. Of course, New York Red Bulls are trying to get back to their MLS runner-uppers season. While for Columbus, they're trying to get back in that top four, top three. Of course, they're slipping from there to number 6. They cannot afford to lose this game. But I'm going to keep it simple. I think it's going to be a 2-2 draw. Kansas City taking on Colorado at 8:30 p.m. Eastern game. Kansas City coming off a 5-2 loss on the road to Seattle. They welcome Colorado, who are also coming off a 3-0 loss to LA Galaxy. Must win for both of these clubs, of course, but for Colorado, they're trying to get into the playoffs. So give me Colorado winning it 2-1. St. Louis taking on Houston at 8:30 p.m. Eastern game. St. Louis are coming off a tough loss over there in Vancouver. How are y'all feeling after that loss to Vancouver on a penalty that had 90 minutes plus 14 minutes? Yep, they want to forget about that. They're going to take on Houston, who Houston are coming off a 1-2 loss to San Jose. A real good game for Houston to probably get some noise, but I'm going to go St. Louis. They win this 2-1. Austin FC taking on San Jose at 8:30 p.m. Eastern game. Austin is coming off a 3-2 loss to Montreal, while for San Jose, they're coming off a 2-1 win against Houston. Big game for both of them, of course. They're trying to get in the playoffs this year, but some of these clubs cannot afford to go in that play-in because for those who go to the play-in, have to win against the other opponent to play the top seed of their conference. Give me a 2-2 draw. Nashville taking on Atlanta at 8:30 p.m. Eastern game. Nashville coming off a 5-1 win. Sorry about that. That was an interruption I had to take. Back to it, I just mentioned Nashville 5-1 win against Orlando. Great performance, Nashville. They welcome Atlanta, who are in the season where they're struggling, but then they're not getting the results they wanted. They're coming off a 0-0 draw to Toronto, a game that they should have won, but they disappointed the ATL fans. This is a huge game for Nashville if they're going to win a silverware for the first time in club history. It has to be this game, and they need Philly and San Diego and maybe Cincinnati to drop points if they're going to win the Supporters' Shield. Give me Nashville 3-1. Minnesota taking on Portland at 8:30 p.m. Eastern game. Minnesota's coming off a 3-1 win against Real Salt Lake. Meanwhile, for Portland, a decent draw, but can they get to the playoffs this season? The answer is I think they could. Give me a 2-1 upset win against Minnesota. And finally, LAFC taking on San Diego. This is on Sunday, 10:45 p.m. Eastern game. The Heung-Min Son home debut. We're going to see it. This should be a great game. LAFC is coming off a 1-1 draw to Dallas, while for San Diego also draw, and they're the first team to clinch a playoff spot. So congrats once again to San Diego. Now it's time to focus on the Supporters' Shield race, because yes, they're right behind with Philly, but those who are catching up is Cincinnati, Nashville, Minnesota, and Vancouver. We're trying to get in that race. This game would probably be more important for San Diego than LAFC, because for San Diego, if they're going to win their first silverware, they're going to have to win this game. And being played in LAFC, let me tell you, this should be a real good game for Heung-Min Son, but I'm going to go with a 2-2 draw. I think it's going to be a tight game. Draw 2-2. And one more game to go. This is the League Cup final between Seattle and Miami. This should be a real good game also. This is going to happen on Sunday. This Sunday, Miami is coming off a draw 1-1, but they're also coming off a big win at home against Orlando in the Leagues Cup semifinals. They're going to take on Seattle, who had a 5-2 win against Kansas City, while they're coming off a huge win against LA Galaxy on the road. This game's going to be huge because Miami has won this before, and they have a new coach who's going to look to win his first silverware as a manager. Seattle has a lot of history at these cup finals. They've won MLS Cup titles, and could they win this year's League Cup? I'm going to say Seattle wins it, 1-1 draw. We go to penalties. Seattle wins it 5-4 in penalties. And that's it for my MLS Matchday 31 predictions. Hello there. If you have not seen my other channel, my other videos, go check them out on my channel. Of course, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and hit that notification bell for more sports news.